September is Suicide Prevention Month. As divorce attorneys, we are working with people through the toughest times of their lives. So we often don't get the question about suicide prevention, but we see markers that we can help our clients with. My name is Charles Hatley with Melone Hatley PC, where we truly are your partner through the divorce process. Whenever we're going and we're working with somebody through something that is so terrible, we try to open ourselves up to being aware of certain markers of self-harm, certain markers of depression that may come not only from our clients, but also be present in our clients' relationships with their children, with their spouses, with their extended family. Because I said spouses, you expect divorce to be a breakup between you and your spouse. While we may think it's going to be hard, we sometimes mistake hard for something that's going to seem insurmountable in the short term, but will be really great for you for the long term. We also tend to get wrapped up in ourselves when we're going through something that is so emotional, and we forget to pay attention to our children. Here at Melone Hatley PC, one of the things that we talk to you about is, hey, how are you doing today? And more importantly, how are your children doing? While our relationship as an attorney and a client may be one that's driven through necessity, it doesn't mean that it has to be cold. So when you're going through the divorce process, your children, especially teenagers and all children, right, are very unlikely to come to you and say, Mom, Dad, I'm depressed because you're going through this relationship. Just like you, they're struggling. So you have to keep an eye out for markers. Look at their grades. Maybe talk to their teachers a little more often to see if they're acting out in school. Look at their personal relationships. Are they still hanging out with their friends? Are they talking about their friends? Are they talking about things that they're doing in school? Or are they pulling back into themselves? And all of a sudden you notice they're not talking about friends anymore. They're not talking about things that they learned in school anymore. My child used to love to read. They're no longer reading anymore. They're kind of, I don't want to say staring at the wall, but they're doing things that just are abnormal. It's hard to pay attention to somebody else when you are also going through a situation like this. And frequently what we suggest, if a parent can afford it, to put their child in some sort of age-appropriate therapy, right? So for a younger child, it will be play therapy. For maybe a little bit older of a child, it'll just be normal therapy, not because there's something wrong, but because you look inside as a parent and realize that you may not have the emotional capacity right now to deal and be available for your child. The second marker that you want to pay attention to is yourself. The reality is when you're going through a divorce, your relationship has failed. There's not many people in all the thousands of divorces that I've dealt with who do not come in at some point and open up a little bit and say, I feel like a failure because my relationship failed, even when the other side is the fault of the relationship, right? So if you're the spouse getting cheated on, you will frequently feel deficient. If you're the spouse that was the victim of violence or some sort of abuse, we frequently get, I think that's my fault. And it's hard as an attorney to get you to come around to the other side and say, hey, look, it's not your fault. We're going to get you through this. But for yourself, it may also be a good time to reach out for somebody to talk to. One huge caveat, be careful who you talk to. The old adage that blood is thicker than water, well, that's not the accurate quote, reigns supreme in divorce. So frequently, I get clients who are like, I'm really close to my soon-to-be ex-spouse's family, and I confide in them. And I beg them not to, because come court, what's going to happen is the ex-spouse's family, soon-to-be ex-spouse's family, is going to show up into court and testify against you. You may want to go, if you're a religious person, talk to a priest. If you are somebody that likes therapy, go talk to a therapy. Don't do joint sessions. Don't ever do joint sessions of therapy. Everything you say in a joint session of therapy is no longer privileged and can be used against you. So when you're going through this, being able to reflect on yourself and identify the markers to keep an eye on are very hard. One piece of advice, just like your children. If you notice that you're pulling away from your friends, if you notice that you used to like to go outside and swim in a pool and you no longer like that, if you notice that you used to like to go for walks and you no longer like that, if you notice that you used to wake up in the morning and exercise every morning, that's something you no longer do, you may want to take a look. You also want to take a look at your activities which are self-harming. Everybody gets stressed during certain points of their life. and having a drink or two drinks is okay, but if you find yourself waking up with a hangover 5 days a week, it's not okay anymore. If you find yourself finding solace in things that are not something you wouldn't want to tell your mom about, it's probably not okay. So the difference between Melone Hatley PC and other divorce firms is we care enough to talk to you about you and not just your case. So as your partner, we look at the whole case. We look at everything that's going along with you to try to help you protect your families, your finances, and your future. So if this is something that you're wanting while your relationships are evolving into what will be a better next step, give Melone Hatley PC a call. See the difference that we will make.